welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. First disclaimer before I start this video is if you see this on my face, I'm so sorry. I got in a fight with the firework and it is what it is. I'm not going to stop filming because of it, so we're just going to embrace it. We're going to love it. I can't put on makeup, so we're just going to deal with this for the next couple of weeks. So yay for me. But other than that, I'm really excited to be sharing this video with you guys today. Today I'm going to be doing my 1,000 subscriber and 2,000 subscriber Q&A. I asked you guys in my last video, I believe, for some questions, as well as I got some questions on Instagram of just some questions that you guys wanted to hear from me, a little bit more about my reading tastes, my life, everything here and there. So I just wanted to answer those questions for you. But before I answer those, I just want to say a huge thank you. Being on this platform for the last couple of months has been so incredible. It has been really a highlight of my life. It has been so much fun to be able to join this community and surround myself with people that love books as much as I do, and just being able to find a place where I can talk about something that I am genuinely passionate about that makes me happy, and being able to just get recommendations from you guys, chat with you guys in the comments. Everyone has been so incredibly sweet to me in more ways than I can even say, and I'm just so incredibly thankful and grateful for you guys. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you so much and say that I appreciate and love you guys so very much, and I appreciate every single one of you that's a part of this family. So without further ado, let's go ahead and answer some questions. So all of these questions are kind of mixed around from Instagram and from YouTube. So I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can, but I don't want this video to be too long. So we'll start with the first one. And this question is from Lovely Day with Holly. And she asks, I see your beautiful ring. How long have you been married? Do you have kids? Do you have siblings? And what is the most amazing place you have visited? So I have been married a little over a year, half a year. So we got married in August and it's now June. So it'll be a year in 2 months. So 10 months. I've been married 10 months. That was a long explanation for 10 months. I've been married 10 months. I've been with my husband 5 years. And I love him to pieces. Do I have any kids? I do not. I have a fur baby and her name is Bailey. I love her also to pieces. But as of right now, we don't have any kids. Do we have any siblings? I do. I have 10 siblings. I know. Let that sink in. 10 siblings. I am like in the middle of all of my siblings. My youngest siblings are 3, 4, and 6. So yeah, I don't know how that happened, but I love my family. It's a big family and I love it so much that I'm able to have that many siblings in my life that I can talk to. So amazing. And the most amazing place you've ever visited, other than my honeymoon when we went to Mexico, I would have to say that Paris was the most incredible place that I've ever visited. I went there in high school for 5 days and it was so phenomenal. Literally one of the best trips I've ever taken, and I cannot wait to go back. Okay, the next question I have here is from Erica D, and she says, what's your favorite music genre or band/artist? So I am very much into R&B and hip hop and pop music. I will listen to country as well. My husband loves country, so I have added that to my repertoire of music that I listen to now. But I would have to say the favorite people that I love to listen to would have to be Adele, Demi Lovato, Sam Smith, just anyone that can like really sing. I love to sing myself, so I like music that I can sing along to. So those would be like the top 3 people that I could think of. Okay, the next question that I have, that I think I got a couple of times, so hopefully I don't re-ask this question, is what is the first book that really got you into reading? And this was from Stephanie B. I'm trying to think back to like when I really started reading. And I was an avid reader even when I was a kid. I used to read a lot of the Junie B. Jones books as well as Magic Treehouse. But I would have to say the book that made the biggest impact on me, and a book that I can like pinpoint I remember reading when I was really young and loving it, would probably be, I want to say, the Marked series. I know it's not a loved series here on BookTube. Not a lot of people love that series, but it's the first series that I remember really binging and like buying all the books and loving them at the time. And so it has to be the book that I would say really got me into reading. But a book series that sticks with me and like kept me reading in that time was definitely Twilight, The Hunger Games, and Divergent. Okay, so Marie H asked a very hard question, and she's really putting me on the spot here. And she says, if you could only keep 5 books, which books would you keep? And that's very hard because I would love to keep some of the books that I haven't read yet because I know that I'm probably going to love them. But what if I don't and I hate them? So I'm going to pick books I actually read. Okay. 5 Feet Apart is definitely 100% one of them. That's a book that I don't think I could ever live without. Beach read. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so hard. Okay. Clockwork Angel, Last Magician, and I guess The Chaos of Standing Still. Those are my favorite books so far this year. Oh wait, no. Okay, Slay. Not The Chaos of Standing Still. I'm gonna pick Slay. So Slay, Beach Read, 5 Feet Apart, The Last Magician, and Clockwork Angel. Oh man, that was really hard. Okay, I have 2 questions from Veronique. Ooh, I'm so sorry if I butchered that name. So sorry. But she asks, if you can go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And if you could live in a fictional world, where would you live? Wow. Okay, if I can go anywhere in the world, I would definitely go back to Paris. I know I already said that, but I loved Paris so much, and that is like a place that I would love to live one day. And so that would be the place that I want to go. And then a fictional world that I would want to live in. Oh, that is really hard. Dang. That's a really hard question. I'm trying to think of like a good place because a lot of the fantasies that I read, I would never want to like live there. So I'm really struggling here. I'm gonna pick, okay, is that really fictional though? I was gonna pick Twilight, but that's not really fictional, a fictional world because it's set in our world. But I want there to be vampires in it. But like those kind of vampires, like sparkly in the sun kind of vampires. So I'm gonna pick Twilight. I don't really know if that really counts, but that's the one I can think of now. Okay, the next question is, what was my favorite childhood book? And I'm gonna go get it. I can show you guys right now. Okay, so this is something that I've never mentioned on my channel, but my nickname, my family nickname that people call me to this day, my whole family still calls me this, and my nickname is Ladybug. There's a backstory behind it that I won't share, but my favorite childhood book is actually 10 Little Ladybugs, and I was at the bookstore that I work at, and this came in secondhand, and I had to pick it up because it just reminded me so much of my childhood. My grandma used to read this to me, and I would flip through it as a kid, and so I picked it up because I wanted to share it with my kids when we have one, or 2 or 3 or 4. So yeah, this is my favorite childhood book, and it's just really cute. As you go down the book, the little ladybugs disappear, and it's the cutest. And then you get to the very end, and there's little ladybugs, and it's just the sweetest little picture book and something that reminds me of my childhood so much. Okay, the next question that I have is by Debbie, and the question is, what was the first book you loved that sticks with you still to this day? That would have to be like the Junie B. Jones books, or like the Marked books, the Fallen books that I read when I was in high school that I loved back then. I don't necessarily love them now, but I loved them so much back then, and they still stick with me to this day. And when I reread them, I still remember like a lot of the stuff that happens, even though I read them like 10, 15 years ago. So there you go. So the next question is from Ava Eder. I've already answered one of the questions on here, which is about like my favorite series when I was a kid. So I'm gonna do the second question, and that's, how do I organize my books? So I have a couple of different ways of organizing my books. Obviously, I keep them all on my bookshelf. They are in a rainbow colored order. All of my unread books are flipped, backwards, so that you don't see the spines, so that I know that they're unread. I also keep my TBR books that I pick for the month on a TBR cart behind me. I have some stray books back here that don't fit on my shelf right now that I'm just keeping right here. And then I also have all the books written by Black authors or about Black main characters on my TBR cart back there, because I really know that I want to get to them. So those are back there. So that's how I take care of my physical shelf, but I also keep them all electronically on a spreadsheet so that I can see all of my books in one space, as well as I mark them as read and unread. And then of course, Goodreads is another great tool that I use all the time. So that's how I organize my shelves. And then like when I keep my mind organized for my books, I use my Excel sheet and Goodreads. So there we go. The next question I have here is from Melissa Ann. And are there any movie adaptations that you liked more than the book? One that I've talked about liking more than the book many times on my channel is Crazy Rich Asians. I love that movie. The book, just not for me. I would have to say the same thing goes for The Fault in Our Stars. But I read the book after I watched the movie, and I think that had something to do with it, but I really enjoyed the movie more. I'm trying to think. And I guess all three of the 50 Shades books, all three of the 50 Shades movies, I liked more than the books. Those would be my three answers for you there. Let's see. The next question I have here is from Ellie's Reading, and her question is, what book got you out of your reading slump the most? So that's a really good question. I went through a really tough reading slump in April or May, I can't really remember. But when I read Beach Read, I'm not going to pull it out because I have this bingo thing right here. But when I read Beach Read, that book really pulled me out of my reading slump and made me want to read so much more after that. It was a fantastic book, a book that I read about on my channel so much. And anybody that I can recommend that book to, I recommend it because it is so freaking good. But that was the book that got me out of my reading slump the most this year. Another book that I can think of that really got me out of my reading slump would be the first book that I read after I took a big 6-year break from reading, and that would be Then She Was Gone. It's the first book that I read this year and really got me back into reading altogether. I have a question here from Love for Books, and it's on Instagram, and she said, can you do a bookshelf tour? Yes, stay tuned for that. It will be coming soon. I'm just waiting to get my tripod, and then I will, of course, be doing a bookshelf tour. The same person asked, what is the first book you ever read? I don't think I can go back as far as the first book I've ever read, but the first book I read this year was Then She Was Gone, and then the first book I can really recommend, really recall reading for sure would be the Junie B. Jones books, and that was a long time ago. I think I read almost every single one that she had up until the point when I stopped reading them, so I was a fan, to say the least. What's my favorite book ever? I don't know if I should tell you that because, as you guys know, 5 Feet Apart is my favorite book of all time as of this month. And then I read another book this month that I absolutely loved and adored. Should I tell you guys, or should you have to wait for my wrap-up? I'll just tell you. My favorite book of all time is Pet by Awake? I don't know how to say that first and last name, but this book was phenomenal. If you want to hear my thoughts about it, go check out my wrap-up or the reading vlog that I did for these books, but so good. So freaking good. Okay, Memories Leah's. I think that's how I said that. I think I said that right, but if I didn't, I'm sorry. If you could only read one book series for the rest of your life, which book series would you pick? And that is very not nice, okay? It's not nice for you to ask me that question because that is very, very hard. There are very few book series that I've actually completed in their entirety. And so I don't want to say a certain book series if I haven't actually finished it, but this is so hard. I don't think I can choose one. I don't think I can choose just one because I haven't read enough where I would be able to choose just one particular book series. And so I'm going to cop out and not answer that. I'm sorry, but yeah, I can't answer that. Let's see. Okay, the next question is by Crazy Liz LOL. I think that's how you say that name. And it's favorite tropes. And that is a very good question. I love chosen one tropes. I really love hate to love romances. I love fake dating tropes. I read a lot of romance books, so I love those type of tropes in the books. I really love friends to lover tropes. A lot of my tropes that I'm thinking of are romance tropes. I don't really have a specific thing that I would like to see in fantasy. I think that's because I haven't read enough of them to lock that down, but I really, really, really love romance tropes that have to do with fake dating, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, anything along those lines. Love that. The next question that I have from Paper Pages is, what kind of dog do you have? And I will pop a picture right here. And I have a Jack Russell Terrier mix. I don't know what she's mixed with. We think Italian Greyhound because she has really long legs, but we don't really know for sure. But we know for sure she is a Jack Russell Terrier mix, and she is the love of my life, and I love her so much, and her name is Bailey, and she's the cutest. Okay, that's all I have to say about her. The next person that I have is Jess or Checkers. These names, I'm really stumbling with them. But the question is, have you always enjoyed reading? And yes, I have always enjoyed reading. I read when I was little, I read in middle school and high school, and I really enjoyed it. I took a break from reading for a good 4, 5, 6 years. But it wasn't because I didn't enjoy reading anymore. It's just that I got mixed up and tied up with other things in my life. But yes, I've always enjoyed reading, and I probably will always enjoy reading. The same person asks, when do you like to read the most? I prefer to read at night. I don't really have time during the day to read. If I do, then it's usually an audiobook on my commute from home and to work. But I also really enjoy reading in the morning if I have the time and my brain is awake enough to comprehend what I'm actually putting in my brain. But for the most part, I read at night. And what is your bedtime routine? I don't have one. I'm really bad at creating and sticking to a routine for bedtime. I have a morning routine, which I will share on this channel eventually, but my bedtime routine is just, it's not it. Do you practice meditation or any mental boosting practices? I do yoga, and I also meditate from time to time. I don't do it all the time, but I try to do it at least once or twice a week, and I love yoga, and yoga is one of my favorite things that I have done for myself that has really helped my mental health and my physical health, and I would 100% recommend it if you are like teetering on the edge of wanting to do yoga. Just do it. It's fantastic. Okay, what is your favorite part about BookTube? Do you wish to be a part of any other YouTube groups? Okay. My favorite thing about BookTube is the community. Everyone here has been so extremely kind to me and so accepting of me into the community and just been so open and ready to help me if I ever needed it, and just being there to watch my videos and support me in any way that they can has been fantastic. I was also a part of I did beauty videos before I did BookTube, as well as I had a channel where I did singing, and it was just not the same type of community. Everyone is out for themselves and is not as quick and ready to help you, and that's the thing I love about BookTube. I've made some great friends here in this community, and I'm just so grateful to be in a community that really values new people, and that's amazing. And that's something that I want to provide for people that want to create a channel as well, is just to be that person that will help and support you if you need it. And that's one of the things I love about BookTube. As a part of any other YouTube groups, I want to stay in the BookTube community as much as I can for the time being, but I would love to do maybe like a book club or read along or things like that. That would be really fun. I already kind of asked this question, and it says, are you planning on having any children, or do you have any pets? I do have a dog, and my husband and I do plan on having children, but we're just going to wait another year to enjoy our marriage before we jump into having kids. The next question I have from Love for Books is, are you a fan of Harry Potter? And I am a fan of Harry Potter. However, I've only read the first 2 books, and after that, J.K. Rowling has just said some more ignorant and stupid things on Twitter, and I just can't support somebody like that, so I will no longer be talking about her books on my channel. I will no longer be supporting her on my platform at all in any way, shape, or form. But do I enjoy the books? Yes. Do I like her as a person? No. So the next question I have from Britt, and she asks, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel? The biggest push for me to start a YouTube channel was I was getting ready to get married, and I wanted to document my wedding experience and everything that went into planning a wedding, because it was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. It was so crazy, but that was the main push for me to start my YouTube channel. But I also wanted to do makeup videos, and after a couple of months of doing that, it just wasn't something that I was feeling, and I tried to get back into it at the end of last year, and then I found BookTube, and I realized that this was something that I really wanted to do, and I've been doing it ever since. The next question I have here is from Braden Authors, and he asks, what genres do you like and dislike? So I absolutely love romance and fantasy, contemporary romance, contemporary YA, new adult romance, like smutty romances. The things that I don't really tend to gravitate towards, I wouldn't say I dislike them, I just haven't read as many of them, are sci-fi and historical fiction, historical romance, as well as like anything horror. But that's not to say that I won't try them in the future and be open to the possibility of liking them. It's just something that I'm not as drawn to. The next question that I have is from the Bookish Mom, and she said, if you could meet one fictional character and spend the day together, who would it be? And that's such a good question. Oh man. That's a really tough question because there are so many like fictional characters that I have read that I've really enjoyed learning more about and reading about. But I would have to say it would have to be like a fantasy character for sure. Oh man, I'm trying to think of one in particular. You know who I would meet? I would meet Percy Jackson. That would be so cool, just to hear about like the gods and everything that goes on in that world would be so fantastic. So that's who I'd meet, Percy Jackson. And if I can choose other people, his gang, because I love me Annabeth and Grover. Come on now, I would meet all of them. I really love this question. This is from Kellen Green, and she says, what is the easiest and or hardest thing of being a booktuber? And that is a phenomenal question. I would say the easiest thing about being a booktuber is talking about books, because your opinion is subjective. You can like a book and dislike a book all you want. That is your opinion and it's totally up to you. I would say that's the easiest thing. It's just being able to share your love for books because you love them. That's easy and it's fun to do. But I would say the hardest thing about BookTube is making sure that you're mindful of the things that you're saying and how you're saying them, as well as for me, because I work full time and I have a husband and I have responsibilities. It's balancing being able to film and edit and read and spend time with my husband and make sure that my house is not a total 100% mess all the time, and working and finding the energy to do all of that, because I work a very grueling job. I'm on my feet for hours at a time, and by the time I get home I'm exhausted. And so that's like the hardest thing. It's just finding a balance between my personal life and being able to share what I do with you guys on this platform. Okay, the next question I have is from Mickey Thompson, and she says, what is a book you've read that really surprised you, good or bad? I would say the book that has been the most surprising out of all the books that I've read this year would have to be Pet, because I didn't know what the book was about going into it. I didn't know it was a fantasy. I just picked it up because it was part of a secret TBR that I had filmed, and it blew me away and it totally surprised me, and I'm so glad I read it. I have a question, and I'm not going to say this name because I'm totally going to butcher it, but I will leave it here on the screen as I have with the others. And this is there a book that you're really glad that you read but didn't like? Yes, there are a couple of books that I'm really glad that I read that I just didn't like. And the one that comes to mind right off the top of my head is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I am so glad I read that because it was a classic. It's a book that is loved by so many. I didn't like it, but I can see the appeal in it, and I'm glad that I read it so that I can have that experience of reading Alice in Wonderland. I feel like I didn't get that experience as a kid, and I'm so grateful that I actually had a chance to read it. It just wasn't the book for me. Okay, the next question is from Miranda L, and it says, if you had to name 3 books, only 3, that you think represent your reading preferences, what would they be? And man, you guys are really digging deep and getting these hard questions. But I would have to say the 3 books that represent my reading taste the most. The first would be Beach Read, because it's everything I love in a romance and more. So that's fantastic. Okay, the next one I would pick would be Slay, because I love a contemporary book that just really digs deep and brings out so many lessons and things to take away from a book. But it's also fun and heartwarming and just a wonderful read in and of itself. So I'd have to pick that. So Beach Read, Slay, and the third one that I would pick, I think the third one that I'm going to pick is another spoiler of my reading this month, but that would be Nevernight by J. Kristoff. And it was a phenomenal book, but it's a very like hardcore fantasy with a lot of world building, great characters, but just fast paced and like super fun and exciting to read and sit down and listen to everything that's happening. Well, for me, I read it via audiobook the second half, and it was just so much fun to read and listen and absorb all the information and just be on the edge of your seat sometimes, like rooting for the characters so hard. That's like a fantastic book that I love to read about, just like books that keep you gripped to the very end. So those would be my 3: Beach Read, Slay, and Nevernight. They're very different, but you get the gist. All right, and that was the last question that I'm going to be answering today. I am so grateful and thankful for you guys. I am so blessed to have you guys in my life, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on here and be who I am and share my love for books with you guys. I would love to continue to talk to you guys in the comments below. Thank you guys for being so kind and generous and understanding about everything that I have talked about in my videos, and you guys are just so incredible, and it really is a wonderful family that I have built here. So thank you so much for you guys' love and support. I'm excited to continue to grow with you guys and excited to continue to get to know you guys. If you guys have any questions, want to talk to me anymore, feel free to comment down in the comments below. You can always message me on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and reach out to me there. I would love to chat with you guys. But other than that, that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big O thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!